What's up, everybody? Welcome to Friendship Frequency. This is a podcast where we talk about our real life struggles and what has worked for us. We get vulnerable and discuss our everyday lives, and we invite you to go on this journey to better yourself right along with us. I'm Tab Johnson.
And I'm Aaron Winhorn.
And this is who we are, and this is what we do. How's it going, everybody? Hello, hello.
What up, what up?
Yeah, for real. I always want to say happy Sunday, but then I forget people don't realize that we, film these twice a week.
Pre-record these, right?
Yeah. So happy day, whatever day you're on.
You'll be hearing this on a Friday. So
yeah, you'll get this on a Friday. So happy Friday. Woo woo. Tonight's topic is the strength of community and how togetherness heals. So I think it falls right in line with our topic that we had last week or a few weeks ago. I keep forgetting this is filmed. Surrounding yourself with greatness in the company you keep. I think this falls right in line with that. Kind of breaks it down more at a smaller level, a more direct level, I think. You and I, Aaron, have had the privilege of being part of several communities. What would you say the importance of community is and what that means to you exactly?
Yeah, I mean, community for me is huge. You're gathered by like-minded individuals, whatever community that might be, and you find strength in numbers. As much as we try to handle stuff on our own, in specific communities that you may be in, you can find commonality and support and, know that you're not alone and that you're most likely not the only one in the world that is going through what you're going through. And most likely people in those communities have experienced or gone through what you're experiencing, and they can provide support and suggestions to get you through that. So, as you know from previous podcasts we talked about, I'm in the recovery community. I'm in the, prove it community. There's something to say about being surrounded by like-minded people. So
Absolutely. I agree. 100%. There's the energy and the just the overall vibe that you get when you're surrounded by like-minded people and you're all moving in the same direction, whatever that looks like. And it can light a fire inside of you that you didn't even know was there. Like, let's take our Prove It community, for example. Like, being at those events and being in the room and everybody just on level 1,000, dude, there is nothing like that in the world.
No.
And to know that, you're surrounded by people that want the best for you and want the best version of you, and being part of that community is incredible. Like, we're so blessed that we have that. Yeah. And I just didn't know stuff like that existed.
Right.
Like, I didn't know that was like a thing prior to all of this. So
yeah. And for one, I mean, along those lines is, who would have thought that, you find a simple drinkable product that helps you mentally, physically.
Right.
And if you choose to get involved in the community and go to the events that this particular company strives on better.
Absolutely.
And, I've never seen too many companies that, provide that atmosphere for.
Yeah. Dude,
people.
It's like a huge party. Like every event that we go to, I'm on like chairs dancing and
Right.
like screaming at the top of our lungs,
Mm-hmm.
and like we have light wands and glass. I mean, it's why it's so fun though. Like it's
It's
so
crazy.
fun.
Yeah, you remember that
After,
video? They caught me and Cecilia up on our chair
yeah,
dancing on
yeah,
video. I
yeah.
was like, oh, please don't show
I
that.
know. That was so
Uh,
good though. That
it
was so
was.
good. It's to have that like-minded, whatever community it
Mm,
is. It doesn't, I mean, we're obviously talking about Prove It, but even the recovery community, both of us are both part of that. And
yeah.
just having that like-minded purpose, I think, and um drive, is it just gives you a sense of not being alone. And I
Mm,
think that's huge, at least for
yeah.
me.
Yeah.
You know, I, especially in my recovery community, for a long time, I didn't believe that I was the only one as far as that, but maybe the extent of what I went through, I thought maybe I was the only one. And then, you hear other people's stories and you see little pieces of yourself in these other people as they
Yeah.
share their stories. And I think this goes across lines for any community. As you get to know people and people start to tell their stories, you see little pieces of yourself in their stories, and you it catches you, and you kind of pay attention to how they got out of X, Y, and Z, or whatever the situation is. And it just kind of gives you a different perspective, sometimes some hope, whatever the situation is. It just gives you something that you didn't have, a resource that you didn't have in your toolbox before.
Mm, yeah.
So, aside from the fun factor, I mean, hello, everybody wants to have a group of people they can have a blast with.
Right.
So, yeah. What about the historical context of communities? What I mean by that is, let's take 9/11 for
Mm.
example.
I was going to use that example too.
Yeah. Yeah. Like 9/11.
Yeah.
This country, yeah. Go ahead.
I mean, no matter what side of the fence you find yourself on, in times of those historical events like 9/11, everybody came together to help out and support and do whatever they could in those times. And I love seeing that,
Yeah.
especially in
We could use a
today's
little of
time.
that right
Like
now,
the
honestly.
the political climate right now in this world is just off the chain and
Yeah.
crazy. And it's important for people to come together no matter what side of the fence you're
Yeah.
on. Um,
Absolutely.
we all want the same thing. We just see a different way to get there, have different
People would be
ideas.
shocked, Aaron, to know that you and I are at completely different ends of the spectrum
Yeah, right.
politically. And then
Yeah,
we still maintain the friendship that we have, and
mm,
are able to have open, honest conversations
yeah,
about what we think, or whatever our opinion is.
yeah.
Um 9/11 specifically, I had just got out of the military
Mm,
literally 2 weeks prior to that.
wow,
August 17th was my last day of active duty.
wow.
Um and I remember getting a phone call, and it was my friend screaming on the other end of the phone saying that they're going to deploy them, they're going to deploy them, and I didn't know what she was talking about. I
Mm,
turned the TV on. Of course, it's all over the TV. I
yeah,
remember at that time my friend Melissa lived off base and Jason and I were on base, and she wanted to come on base, and I remember lying and saying that her baby was my child and she was my babysitter, and I needed to get her and my child and bring them on base because they had the base closed down, shut down.
wow.
Nobody could get in or out. So they let her come on. But I could remember us driving out to her, and there was this older gentleman out in his yard watering his grass like with a water hose.
Mm,
And I remember thinking to myself, people have no idea the impact that this is about to have. Jason obviously deployed. It was, but it was such a time of whatever anybody needed near you, around you, whatever, people
mm,
just jumped in. There was no questions asked. There was no, you know, it just was. And I think that happens in times of natural disaster in general. And
yeah.
it's sad that it takes something like that for it to,
Right.
happen. But it's in times of hardship, I think people pull together and, you know, at least we do that. I mean, that's not the best scenario, obviously, but
Right.
at least we do attempt to take care of each other. And I think people, you start to realize how short life is. And, situations that happen like that kind of make you question your mortality. And dang,
Right.
maybe I should reach out to, my community or get involved or whatever the case
Mm.
may be. So, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Get
Those,
it. Get involved in something.
yeah,
I have a friend that whenever there's a natural disaster, typically whenever it happens in Florida, I don't know specifically if it's his job that sends him there, or if I think he just goes and volunteers,
yeah.
down to the places where hurricanes hit and stuff like that.
Oh, right
And
on. Yeah.
um, so, I mean, it's definitely something I'd like to get into,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
just haven't done it. I do my
There
service
are
elsewhere.
places like I know American Red Cross, they always take volunteers.
Mhm.
Um, when I was active duty and that Alaskan Airlines flight crashed and we had to do search and rescue for it off the coast of California, American Red Cross showed up and literally fed us like, I mean, the most amazing meals for
Mm.
the entire time that we were out there. So I know there's American Red Cross. I'm sure every local community probably has their own some kind of organization that does that, but I definitely
Mm.
encourage people and myself to look into those and, you know, I mean, worst case scenario, you're helping someone that needs it and you might meet some new people. So,
Right.
you know, yeah, absolutely.
So, what are your kind of switching gears here? What do you think the healing power? What kind of healing power do you get from togetherness?
I think how we talked about, especially in the recovery community, you
Mm.
see little pieces of yourself in other people's stories and what worked for them, what didn't work for them, and people just being open and honest and vulnerable
Yeah.
kind of gives you the permission to be open, honest, and vulnerable. And, or at least it does me. And I think a lot of mine, like I needed somebody, not necessarily to validate it, but to witness it, if that makes sense. Like
Mm.
I needed to be able to speak about it because I had held it for so long. And just being able to talk about it to someone that has been through something similar or, has already climbed their way out of it, I think was huge for me in healing.
Yeah.
And if it was a situation where they could offer resources and support, then, you get access to that as well. And again, that, like going back to prove it, when we're in that room, um, and I don't mean they lock us in a room, y'all. That I keep saying that, and I thought about that the other day. Nobody's locking us in these rooms, just so we're all clear.
Right.
Like, but being in that room and the music and the lights and just the sheer energy that you're feeling from everyone else,
Mhm.
like unless you've been to a prove it event, it's hard to explain it. But Aaron can testify to this. Like, dude, you feel like you could run through a wall.
Mhm.
Like, you're ready to take on the world's problems and no, we don't have all the answers, but we will figure it out as we go
Right.
along. Like just the hope and the fire that comes from situations like that. and I think that goes with any like motivational or,
Yeah.
speaker, whatever the case may be. Just the fire that you get from that inside of you is super healing. At least it is for me. It has
Yeah.
been thus far. So,
And
what
you
about,
always get your batteries recharged too. I
yes,
mean,
that part.
it's
That
like
part. Your cup gets filled, your batteries get recharged. Um it's you just feel good. And that's part of healing,
yeah,
is to be able to put yourself in situations where you do have to step outside of your comfort zone a little bit, but in doing that, it's healing, super healing.
it is
So, yeah.
100%. And
What
just the sheer fact of sharing your experience, strength, and hope,
mhm.
and your journey in life, or store or situations you've been through, um, that can help a lot of
Yeah.
individuals, and we never know who we're going to help. And that goes along with this podcast too. It's like yeah, this is a community, me and Tabitha talking about our experiences, and whenever we have guests on the show, them sharing their experience and how they got through something, that helps a lot of people. you
Yeah,
know i don't
absolutely.
I don't all know who's listening to this podcast, or if there's anybody
Hey.
listening to it, but
Right.
we hope
It
what
could
we have
just
to
be
say
us.
helps. Yeah. Right. But that's okay. Like, it helps
Right.
us.
Helps us. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
exactly.
Absolutely. What do you think of the role of communication is in these groups and communities? And how does communication, I guess, how does communication rank number one? And like, you know, how important is it really?
I mean, I think it's vital.
Reach. That's
you
what I'm
you
saying.
have to, like Tabitha was talking about, get real honest and vulnerable in certain situations. And um like, take for the walking group that I started,
Mhm.
almost 2 years ago. I was on a health journey, and I kind of wanted accountability. I was out walking by myself and just had posted a post on social media about it, and I had all kinds of people who are like, "Oh, I want to do that. I want to do that." I'm like, okay, well, let's pick a day and do it. And then I ended up starting a group, and it just kind of grew up, grew from there. And it helped keep me accountable, and, it supported other people. So it's like, you know, back on communication, I just think it's extremely important. I mean,
Yeah. I think
yeah.
that's with anything, with any community, individual, two people.
Mhm.
Communication is such a vital role in everything that we do. But before we go any further, let me just plug this walking group really quick. Um, P&W Walking Group. We are on Facebook and Instagram. Um, we walk every Saturday morning, rain or shine, literally rain or shine. And I'm not always happy about it, but I show up.
Or cold or
Cold
hot.
or scorching hot, either one. Um, we start at, we meet in the parking lot at 8 a.m. at Rogner Park in Auburn, Washington, if you're local. And we start walking at 8:15. Y'all, this walking group it sounds like, oh, yay, a walking group. No, it's way more than that. People don't realize until they show up. We've made some of the best friends in this walking group.
Mhm.
Um, that walking group has literally pulled me out of some dark places before. And, we just love on each other and support each other. You go at your own pace. I ran on Saturday.
She
I know,
did. Facts.
don't anybody pass out. Trust me, I almost did. It's fine. But like, you go at your own pace, there's no judgment, there's none of that. It's just all love and all support. And if you're in the area, feel free to join us. Like, we have a
Oh,
blast. So it's always a good time, and it's a beautiful walk.
it
And
is.
yeah,
It's a
reach
lot.
out.
It's along the White River, and we
Yep.
have great conversations, and
Yeah.
it's not just walking. It's
No.
3.2 miles round trip. Walk at
Yep.
your own pace, or as fast as you want, or as long or short as you want. And
Yep.
just come out and meet
Bring
some new
bring your
people.
kids, bring your
Yeah.
kids, bring your dogs, bring your hamster, whatever you want. Like we don't care.
Bring your
Just
cat.
yeah. Yeah, serious. There's people that bring their little kitties in backpacks. So,
Yeah.
whatever floats your boat. We go and
Right.
we have a good time. So, yeah, for sure. Um yeah, the role of communication, you know, I think it's vital in everything we do. I think as far as community goes, having that empathy and understanding, this is where the empathy and understanding would come in. And, I think it just opens your eyes to different possibilities that you didn't know
Mm,
were there,
yeah.
or a different perspective, a different lens. We've talked about lenses and how you process the world before, like it just, it shows you that the world is bigger than just your little corner of it and your problems and your issues. Like you start to learn that the world is bigger than just you.
Mm,
And it opens your eyes to new possibilities, new goals, new dreams.
mm,
I think it's such a huge role of having a fulfilled life, to be a part of a community that is bigger than yourself, being a part of something that is bigger than
mm-hmm.
yourself. So, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's huge for sure.
Yeah. What about building and sustaining a community? Oh, that's a good one for you, Aaron. You did a whole ass walking group.
Well, it in reality, it's just a thought. I have
Yeah.
tons of people like specifically in the community of health, that I started the walking group, and
Hmm.
people are constantly commenting on, oh, I want to start a group in my area. I'm like, okay, we'll do it.
Yeah.
All you got to do is start walking and post and be like, hey, I'm walking here. Who wants to join me? It's it's
Hmm.
it's not hard. It's just a matter of taking that step to do it. And
And
um,
being okay with the fact if nobody shows up.
right,
You're doing it for you,
yeah,
or Aaron did it for himself to keep himself accountable, and, you know, to build his own health. And it was okay if nobody showed up.
yeah,
It was okay. Don't beat yourself up or don't get down on yourself if people don't show up the first few times. It's not even about them, it's about you.
yeah.
So, yeah, I think
I mean,
that's
I think
awesome.
I think when I started, there was like three people, maybe, that showed up, and then once I physically put up the group, there was probably 30 people that showed up for the first time, and then
Mhm.
they walked, and then a lot of them didn't show back up.
Mhm.
Other people have other things going on in life and doing, other priorities, or people may complain that it's held in the same location every week. But
Mhm.
it's like, well, if you want it in a different location, go walk at a different
Right.
location. But
Right.
if you keep switching it up, then it's going to
Yeah.
confuse a lot of people, and is what I think. But we do other things occasionally, like go, if there's a good cause that's a 5K, we'll go do that together as a group.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, just do it. You want to do something, just do it. That's
Yeah.
why that's why Nike's so
Literally.
successful.
Yeah.
Just
And
do
the
it.
thing is it's like you said, people are like, oh, I want to start it. It's so simple, it's difficult, I think,
Yeah.
sometimes. You know
Well,
what I
we're
mean?
we're complicated people. We like to overthink
Yeah,
things.
absolutely. I agree.
So
Yeah. No, I think it's been, to me, the walking group is more than just a walking group. I have a treadmill at home. Like, I could literally walk in my weight room if I wanted to.
stay
And
warm and
listen,
not get wet.
I just was about to say that. I am not a fan of anything cold and wet.
She's not.
Why we live in Washington is beyond me.
She whines a
But
lot.
yes, I can fully admit that 100%. But I show up because I love my people and I
Hmm.
love, hanging out with everybody. And now we have a new breakfast spot that we go to after.
Mm,
Shout out Nutrition Plus. Woo, woo. We love you guys, Auburn,
amazing.
Washington.
Yep.
Um, but I love my people and I want to check in on my people and, just see how everybody's doing. And we take pictures and all the things. But it's the first few times that I went, I don't even feel like I had the awkwardness. I don't think. I don't remember feeling awkward. Of course, I knew a lot of people from our
Uh,
pre community, but it's you've been gone before and I've ran the walk or vice versa. It just you just show up and you just put yourself out there. And we've had people come and go, and the the diehards are still around, and we just go and have a good time every Saturday morning. It's the best way to start a weekend to me.
right. That's what I'm
So,
saying.
yeah, for sure. What
We
are
can come up with a lot of excuses. I hear, oh, it's too early in the morning, but it's like,
Tammy Ann Austin?
shout
She'll
out.
listen to this. I know. She'll hear it and be like, oh my gosh. What are some challenges that we face, Aaron, in community building and the things that go along with that? There's definitely some challenges.
Yeah.
We've definitely ran across some challenges. What are some ones that stick out for you?
I mean, first of all, like the challenges would be in myself that if I'm not, holding myself accountable, let's be real, like we do things for ourselves
Yeah.
because it makes us feel good, whether we're doing stuff for other people or whatever. So, our biggest hang up could be like Tabitha talked about, like getting mad or upset or giving up because people aren't showing up. Um,
Hmm.
but you have to do it for yourself, nobody
Yeah.
else in reality. Um, so I would think that would be the biggest challenges. Can't really think of any more off the top of my head. I know there's
I
many
think the
more,
one
but
the one that sticks out for me, and only because I've struggled with it,
mm,
is I fall in love with people's potential
mm,
instead of like what the reality is smacking me in the
yeah,
face. I will meet someone and just love their personality and love them to death. And you know, you can see all these great things happening for them in their life and all of this. And I fall in love with what they could be or what could see them doing
mm,
versus what they're actually willing to do
right,
or, comfortable doing. So I've had to really work on the falling in love with someone's potential because I've
mm,
been burned by it a couple times.
yeah,
And so, I wanted them to be part of my community and the things that I have going on. And in the beginning, they were all for it. And then they got a no, or then stuff got difficult, or something
mm.
happened to somewhere along the way.
Life happened.
And
Let's be real.
yeah, yeah, life
Life's gonna
happened.
happen. Yeah.
Exactly. And, not everybody, and even me, sometimes we're not equipped to deal with whatever happened, and we have to step away from something for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just try and not necessarily not fall in love, but meet people where they're at now. And, if you want to be a part of the community, great. We're here for it. If you
Mm-hmm.
don't, or you need to step away, or whatever the case is, we send you love, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So,
We'll
yeah,
be here when you decide to come back.
exactly. I've been that person that's had to step away and come back,
Mm.
so I get it. I fully, fully get it.
Right.
But yeah, awesome sauce.
Right.
Let's see. What other, if, let's say people were struggling in their community, they're already part of a community, but they're really struggling to kind of find their place or find their purpose inside of the community. What would you recommend that they do? Or what are some action steps that we can give people, that are trying to find their role and purpose inside of a community?
That's a good question. I I think the first thing would be is to step out of your comfort zone, um,
Mm-hmm.
and just do it. Go, whether it's a networking community or whatever, you know, go to it. Keep an open mind. We all have to be that one person to go up and introduce ourselves to people.
Mm.
Most
Mm.
people aren't going to do it. So you got to
Yeah.
be the one. In my recovery community, um, it's a global invite. Whenever something's going on, you're not necessarily going to get individually invited. So you just got to show up and,
Mm-hmm.
be consistent. People will get to know you the more you go to something. And yeah, I mean, I just think you have to be the one to initiate it. And um, so, yeah, that would be the best advice I could
I
give.
think that's so big too. That's such a huge topic because everybody's so used to social media and,
Mm-hmm.
staying connected behind a screen or a keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
So doing it in person, it's almost like, especially the generation after my generation, like, I have a teenager, for those of you that don't know, and I watch just their interactions and how they communicate, how Jaden communicates with his friends and everything. And so much of it is digital. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so much of it is sitting on FaceTime and literally not talking to each other, but just hanging out with each other.
Yeah.
And so I think that person to person connection is becoming lost.
Yeah, I agree.
And so when you do get person to person, it's almost like we forgot how to do that. Like we forgot what that feels like. So there's that awkwardness there.
Yep.
For me, I encourage everybody to say yes to everything.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you have a best friend named Aaron and he tries to jump out of an airplane. I'll be on the ground for that, taking all the pictures. But, step out of, like you said, step out of your comfort zone. Say yes, because you don't know what that can lead to.
Well, right.
Um, there's been, opportunities that have been presented to me in my life where I started to say yes, and it turned out so much better than I could have ever imagined.
Right.
And, you know, that's memories. You keep those memories forever. So,
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think, social media and technology, specifically cell phones and texting,
hmm,
although they're great and convenient, I think it's been the downfall of society,
yeah.
um, when it comes to communication, um,
Hmm.
whether it's the dating world or whatever. I mean, it's a whole different world nowadays. Like,
For
you're
real.
so
My
used to
God.
technology, and now you got like dating apps and stuff. And
Dude, I could never. I'm telling you, thank God. Thank God for Jason, y'all, because I can't
right.
even imagine trying to go back. Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I've been
It
single
is.
for
It's
a
just
long
a.
time. The dating's a struggle nowadays
See, I
because
can't.
you've lost the ability to communicate like face to face, unless because
Yeah,
we're so used to social media and text messaging
yeah.
that, like, a lot of times it's so uncomfortable and cringy to me to have a face to face conversation with somebody. You
Isn't
know,
that wild? That's
it's
so
crazy.
wild.
Like,
That's so wild.
that's probably why I'm such a quiet person. Tabitha's the talkative person. I'm like the
There he goes,
the
calling me loud again.
the
Just
introverted,
kidding.
like, person that, like, keeps to myself. And if I don't have nothing to talk about, I won't say nothing. I hate small talk. So, like, if I have something that I'm passionate about, you cannot get me to shut up. I'll talk forever. But
Yeah,
when it comes to, like, small talk, or if I don't know what to say, for me it's uncomfortable and it's cringy in situations. But I have to force myself to be vulnerable and put myself out there if I want to have relationships or build a community,
yeah.
or else I'm going to be alone.
You've gotten so good at it though, Aaron. Like you've
Right?
gotten it's night and day from the beginning to now.
Yeah,
It's night and
it
day.
is.
It's
It's
night and
huge.
day.
I mean, I
Like,
see it too. Usually
yeah.
we're the last people to see changes in ourselves, but it's been so dramatic for me.
Yeah.
Um, I'm still not a Tabitha, but I'm way better than I was before.
But you know what though? Like now I don't have to like keep a ear tilted back to hear your conversation when I'm having my own. Like
Right?
Aaron's guard dog. Like I don't have to keep my attention like this because
Yeah,
he can hold his own and I can go and do whatever I want it or what, whatever and I don't have to like speak sentences for him. Like it's night and day difference.
yeah.
So, I'm super proud of you, friend. But I
Thank
get
you
it.
very
I get what you're
much.
saying. Like I watch it with, especially with Jaden and Jaden's friends. Like in person, there's no like it's all this.
Hmm.
Just you know, that's kind of it's scary. That's
Right?
scary.
It's
Like
cringy.
yeah,
It's
cringy. Good word. Yeah, it's so cringy.
right?
No, for real. It really is though. Like I think even you and I, like during the week when we're busy, it's messaging and text
Mm,
messages or Facebook Messenger or whatever back and forth. But that's another reason why Saturdays is so important to me is
mhm.
so we can see each other and have that person to person connection. But it
Right?
definitely, and I can tell y'all, when Aaron's done talking, I can tell. Like if you've been friends with Aaron for any amount of time, you know when he's done. And we don't have to talk about it. We're done. Good night. I'll see you tomorrow or we'll talk tomorrow. Like
Right?
so
I know I'm like
and
a man
me.
of few words, like especially text message. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. But I think building is, it's a skill. Like you have to learn how to
Mhm.
do it and practice it. A skill just like anything else. So, you know, building community will definitely help practice that skill and push you to do more outside of your comfort zone because it you will be doing it with other people too.
Right?
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes like with this podcast. Like whenever we have guests on, you're the talkative one, and
Yeah.
I kind of just like take the back seat, and I'll put my 2 cents in when it matters. Um, and I'm cool with that. But like when it's
Yeah.
me and you, you know, we can banter back and forth and just
Yeah.
have this conversation. So
Yeah.
it's just, you know,
And that goes to show though too like I do this at work. Like
mhm,
I speak at work. I have zero problem getting up in front of a crowd of people and
uh,
speaking and obviously I can go on forever.
she wants to get
And
on a stage and talk to people. Me, no.
yeah, like that doesn't scare me in the least little bit to do that. Am I going to stumble? Is it going to look crazy? Prop the first few times? Yeah. Speaking of which, I went and listened to our like first couple episodes.
Cringe. No.
Thank God for growth, y'all. Thank God for growth.
Right.
But, where Aaron is not that person. But I guarantee you, if I'm on that stage and I'm having that conversation, Aaron will be in the wings. Like, I
Mhm.
can promise you that. So, it's just,
Preferably on the technology side, but I'm
yeah.
sure she'll drag me up there and on stage and take me out of my comfort zone. And
Sure would. Wouldn't even hesitate either. No, I think that's awesome. I think
uh,
having a community of like minded people, like we said, all moving in the same direction and being open to new ideas and new perspectives and just supporting each other, whatever that
mhm,
looks like, is one of the most efficient ways for one, you to learn about yourself, learn to love yourself,
mm,
because 9 times out of 10, your community will love you enough until you learn how to love yourself. I
yeah,
literally say that all the time. And it encourages you to bring people in closer to you so that they can be a part of that community too.
right.
And I just, like I said, I didn't know it existed before. I just didn't know. And now
Mhm.
I can't imagine my life without our communities that we're involved in. So,
Right.
yeah.
I love it.
Got any You got anything else, friend?
I don't think so. It's definitely been a
That's it.
great
He's done.
episode. I'm done.
He's done. See? That's the
Cut,
cutoff point.
wrap, done.
So, while we're talking about community, shout out to all of our communities. We love
Yeah.
you guys so big. You know who you are. Prove It community, recovery communities, PNW walking group. We love you guys so big. And we're so grateful and thankful for each and every one of you every single day. You guys make us be better. And we hope that we do the same for you. So, love you so big. Love
Love
you so
y'all.
big.
Please like and subscribe and share, and don't be afraid to reach out to us with feedback and topic ideas. We are here to offer hope to everyone, and we cannot do it without you. Until next time, I'm Aaron.
I'm Tab.
And this is the Friendship Frequency. This is who we are, and this is what we do. Have a good night. Peace.
Good night.